listening to Jai Long, and this is Make Your Break. Whether you're a big-hearted creative or an aspiring entrepreneur, let's take action on your dreams, reconnecting you with your why and giving you the how. I'm here to dish out actionable mindset tips and fun industry secrets to help you blow up your biz. From eye-opening reality checks to motivational gold, no two episodes are ever the same. So tune in weekly, skip the FOMO, and let's dive into the deep together. Hey, I hope you're doing well in your pursuit of growing a business, of being creative and taking control of your life and doing those amazing things that we can do. And I know right now so many people are struggling a little bit with the pandemic, with lockdowns, with so many things that are happening in the world. But we are here today and we are making the most of what we have. We're setting our mindset to positive, to abundance. We're growing and we're hitting goals still. So it's been incredible. It's been incredible to see the community come together, helping each other and people moving forward. So today I wanted to have a little bit more of just a close conversation with you and talk about a few things that have really helped me on my journey to success. I've got three main things I'm going to talk about that really has helped me along the way hitting those big goals. And I know that you know my story. You know that I have the typical rags to riches story. I started out with nothing and I work so hard, sacrifice so much to get to where I am today. And I keep doing it. I keep showing up. I keep committing to myself. I keep setting bigger goals, more unrealistic goals, and I keep achieving those goals because I get obsessed, fixated, and I go after the things that mean the most to me. And I know that's what you are about as well, because you're sitting here listening to Make Your Break, or you're at the gym, or you're doing some editing, or you're doing something, but you're here and you're self-developing, self-educating, and you're ready to hit some new goals. So there's a few things, right? With success is like defined differently to everybody. Like my success is like the willingness to do and fail just to make sure I'm always putting myself out there. But there is more tangible things that I want to talk about that's really got me out of where I was to where I am now. Now, I think what's really interesting in business, and I see this over and over, especially with creatives, is we think that business comes down to luck. Like we see those, someone just had a lucky break or a lucky person shared it. And we have a mentality like it's almost like the lottery. It's like some people are not successful because they're unlucky, but maybe if we buy a ticket and it can get us out of somewhere, winning that lotto. But the chances of winning the lottery is so slim to none, but we still go out and buy a ticket in the hope that we're going to win that, dream life of ours. Now, the crazy thing is with business is like you need tools, right? And they are odds, but you can stack, instead of the house always wins, like if you go into a casino and we're talking about luck, like the house wins. The house always has an upper hand, and doesn't matter if it's today or if it's in the future, they're going to dominate you. They'll take your money. But with business, it's also risky, yes, but you can stack the cards towards yourself. So you can become the house. And the more that you do it, the more that you have the right tools, the more that you practice, you experiment, the more that you succeed and fail, you start creating a formula for yourself and you start understanding like what actually works. And that's so important. You got to understand. So with business, too many of us keep it to luck and we think that things are a mystery. We forget that business is just business and people have done it before and there's a proven step formula that can work over and over and over. And I've actually got a bit of a funny story on this one as well. I was having a chat with my business partner for No Skin this morning, and we were talking about, I was talking about how my life changed when I finally started educating myself and paying for education, paying for coaches, and how it was just so amazing for me because I was able to get the tools that I needed to take things to another level. But the journey to get myself there took a long time. But in that moment, because we were brainstorming, how can we get our e-com business off the ground and how can we start, actually sort of dominating a little bit more in our space, I realized that we don't actually have the tools. And that's what it is. Like, why haven't we reached out to someone, an expert, or signed up to a course or found a coach or found someone that's done it before us and actually go pick their brain and work out their strategies and then apply that? And it's funny because we're both very much have achieved a lot in our careers, but we forget sometimes that it's all there because, self-education is so new, and it is new that we actually have the access to so many incredible people in our industry or in many industries that share so much knowledge willingly. And I think that's incredible, and we definitely forget. Now, for education, when I first signed up to a business coach, I remember I had the mentality, and I had a very much scarcity mentality growing up, but even just looking back just a few years ago, when I started my business, I didn't want to sign up to workshops or especially to courses or especially to a coach or something because I just felt like it wouldn't work for me, or I already knew what they were going to talk about. And really what I was saying to myself is I was saying that I wasn't committed to my own dreams and I didn't believe in myself. And it was my own insecurities that stopped me from my next level of growth. And when I look back now, because of course I paid for that first workshop and then I paid for my first course, and maybe that was a couple $100, and I paid for my first course, bigger, higher ticket course, and that was like $2,000. Then I bought another course and that was $10,000. Then I got a business coach and that was $30,000. And I've been working my way up, but I realize now, when I first finally pushed my ego to the side and realized that there's people out there doing more than I am, they can do it better than I can, and they can hack me to faster growth than what I'm ever going to get, or it's going to take me a long time. I realized my growth, that's when my growth exponentially grew, because I was able to implement other people's strategies, and it blew my mind. And it's just me thinking one of my biggest regrets is I wish I jumped onto this earlier. Why didn't I believe in myself enough? I thought I did. I had so much courage, and I had, fearlessness and all that, but still, I even had confidence, but I still didn't believe in myself. I didn't commit. I didn't get out my credit card, and I didn't make a purchase, because if you don't pay, they say that those that pay attention, right? And I was not paying attention. So I do reflect on it, and I think, why didn't I? Could have been quite a few reasons. I would say something I think I already knew. I know what all the coaches teach, but why didn't I have the results that the coaches don't have, right? So if I thought I know what all the coaches teach, but the coaches have millions and I have nothing, then there has to be a knowledge gap. That's something there that I didn't have, and I needed to find out what that missing piece of the puzzle was. But I think coming down, and I wrote a few things on this one, it's I realized when I made a pledge to myself that I want the success that others don't have, I committed to myself, and that was getting out my credit card and paying for a bigger course, and was dedicating more time to my education and stuff. It made me tell myself that I'm actually worth it, because when I did that, not only did I feel like I was worth it, I had the courage and I had the confidence that I was going to make the money back. And that's on me, right? It's not on the coach. It's not on the course. It's not on anyone else. And I realized I've never committed to myself like this before, where I was sure that it's no matter what, I'm going to get something from this, and it's going to push me to the right direction. And that's the direction of the goals that I'm trying to hit. And that's the most important thing for me right now in my life. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the success that other people don't have, because that's what I want right now. So committing to myself and then saying that I am worth it was the right thing for me to do. And then the next thing was I needed the tools, because I didn't want to go through the trenches like everyone does, and I didn't want to make all the same mistakes, because I wanted, like a lot of people do, I want something fast. I wanted the proven strategy. I'm not emotionally connected to making those mistakes. I'm ready for the growth. Give it to me. Let's do this, right? Give me the strategies. So having the tools is so important. And I notice so many people don't have the tools, because they get into Facebook groups and they always say I don't know how to price myself, or I don't know what I should be delivering here, or I don't know what my contract should say, or I don't know how to get more leads, and I don't know how to grow on Instagram. And there's so many things, but they're all just tools that you don't have, is what you're saying. And so when you have the tools, all that becomes so much easier. So yeah, I'd say making a commitment to yourself, for myself, was definitely the biggest thing. And I was talking to my wife, Lilu, as well about this, because she's been going through a little bit of a hard time for her business, and she's actually reaching out to a course and a coach at the moment. And I said, man, it's just the best thing you can do, babe, because you're getting accountability and you're getting a community of people, like-minded people. So now you're stepping into a new room and you are committing to yourself, and you're saying, I can do this and I'm going to make the money back, which is a massive win in itself, to have the courage and to have the confidence to be able to say that to yourself. You don't have to say it to anyone else. And in fact, like, I want you to say this, no matter where you are, like, you can say it under your breath. You don't have to say it out to anyone. But if you're like me, like, I like to say it out to people, right? Be confident in it. But I want you to commit to something. Too many of us, we don't commit, and then we water down our goals. Like, we say things like, I don't need to make much money. I don't need to shoot many weddings. I don't need to book much work. Like, I don't need a fancy something. And it's not the right mentality to have. It's like, no, that's all good, and you're saying that to fit in with everybody else, but it's time to commit to what do you actually want? Tell me what you want, right? So I became a 7-figure business owner. I made $1 million the year that I committed to it and said, you know what, no matter how hard it is, I want to make $1 million in my business. That's what I want to do. And I committed to it, and I told people, and I told myself, and I wrote down those goals. And I think making that commitment means I changed my outlook. I changed the things that I did. I changed my to-do list on a day-to-day basis. I changed my attitude. I stood differently. I held myself differently. The body language was different. My tone of voice was different. Like, things change when you commit to yourself and you have conviction that you can go out there and make it happen. So please, number one thing I want you to do today is I want you to commit to something, a goal that you don't have to tell anybody else, but I want you to commit to it and just say it to yourself. Like, I want this in my life. I'm going to make this happen in my life. This is what's going to happen, right? And I want you to do that. That's a tangible thing. And no matter how silly it might sound for you, wherever you are, like, you're listening to a 7-figure earner right now, and I'm telling you, this is what works. And I want you to do this. If you want the success that other people don't have, step number one is you're going to have to make the commitment like they don't. So commit to yourself, because that's the most important. When you commit to yourself, you're making the promise to yourself. And you're promising to yourself that no matter what, this is the bond that you've made with yourself, and you're going to find out what you need to make it happen. Where do you need to be? What do you need to do? Who do you need to know? What room do you need to be in? What community do you need to be in? What tools do you need? You're going to commit to yourself. So we need to get away from thinking that anything comes down to luck, because you're listening to a podcast called Make Your Break, and my biggest opportunities came from me making my own opportunities, never luck. Now, one thing I want to say before I get into the tips is we all have a ceiling in our business. We all have a ceiling, and most of us, we have a false ceiling, and it can be smashed. And what's amazing about this is we underestimate how high the ceiling is. No matter who we are, and the thousands of people I've coached, we always underestimate. We think we can do less than what we can actually do. Our goals are smaller than what we can achieve. We put on our plate less than what we can actually do. We say that we're too busy when we have more time. Like, we say we have no money when we have more resources. And we do it over and over and over, and we look at the lack and not the abundance. We look at what we don't have in the bank account opposed to what we have right in front of us. Now, I think it's really important to talk about that we underestimate. No matter who you are right now, you're underestimating your own potential. And I know this for myself because I underestimate myself all the time. And so every time I work with a coach, for instance, like, they show me a new way and then how high the ceiling can be. And it gives me a new breath of fresh air and new confidence, newfound courage. Because all of a sudden, if someone else believes in me like that, I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, I understand now that, like, how I can grow so quick, because when I let go of the limiting beliefs that I have, or the lack beliefs that I have, or the self-restricting beliefs that I have, then I know that I'm cutting the ropes and I can fly away. I can do so much more. So I want you just to think about that. Like, this is just practical stuff. We're just having a conversation. It's just me and you here. No one else is here, okay? Unless you're listening into the car, then hi guys. Thanks for listening. And also, just so you know where I am, I'm in the closet of my bedroom right now. We're in lockdown, but hey, I'm in my closet talking to you about, and this is Sunday afternoon for me, talking to you about your success. Now, it's because I'm committed. There's not many 7-figure earners that sit in their closet like this and they want to share with you, like, the things that got them there. But they always say, like, hey, it's your duty and responsibility. When you get some sort of success, you got to put down that ladder. And you know this, right? For instance, if you're a wedding photographer and you've been shooting over and over and over, and you know your camera, but if someone comes up to you and says, I don't know how to use my camera, can you show me? Chances are you're obliged to say, yeah, no, of course I can show you. It'll take me about 15 minutes and I can show you everything and you'll be able to use that camera. So for me, it's the same thing with business. It's not guesswork. It's not like a mystery. It's just like using a camera. There's a strategy. I can show you exactly what you need to do so you can make a lot more money. So it's very interesting. So number one, so going to the big tips, I want you to get rid of, and this is in Lilu, my wife, she said this one to me. I want you to get rid of all the drama. Now, it's not really on brand for me, but what I do want you to do is I want you to get rid of all the negative self-talk, all the drama in the community, all the drama in your life, and I want you just to put a silencer on it. I want you to put it on mute. Because when we're creative entrepreneurs, there's so much self-doubt. Like I get this all the time. Lilu gets this all the time. Like there's so much self-doubt and we get butterflies and we get nervous and we feel imposter syndrome. There's so many things, right? And it's so normal. But for us to get to another level of growth, we need to start silencing those things and move away from it. Instead of getting into the Facebook groups and hearing the naysayers and thinking about them and the haters and thinking about them and the people that told you that you know, it won't work for you or the partner that's not supporting you, instead of putting so much concentration and effort and energy and attention into those things, I want you to start shifting your attention away from that, understanding that it's still there. You totally understand that and you can get through that. But putting your attention into growth, putting your attention into something completely new, fresh air, you know, stepping out of that old room and stepping into a new room of people. Now, I think this is so important because I know like it's so easy to get into the weeds, getting into Facebook groups, fighting with people, fighting with vaxxers and anti-vaxxers or left wing and right wing and fighting with this and fighting with that and what's the best camera. And we all love it, you know. Is it Nikon? Is it Sony? Is it Canon? Like whatever it is. Wherever that drama comes up, like you seriously don't need it because we only have a limited amount of bandwidth in our brains every single day, the decisions that we can make, the energy that we can put out to the world. And when you're putting it onto the wrong thing, it's stopping your growth. And I want you to change that. So getting rid of that negative self-talk, change it. Change it to committing to yourself, like I said before, like things that you can do, practical things that you can do is like, start writing down your goals every single day. And I talk about this all the time. Like write down that goal, commit to it, right? If you want to make $1 million this year, write it down again, write it down when you first wake up, write it down when you go to bed. It's important to you. It's your goal. It's nobody else's. Nobody else needs to even know what it is. This is you and your success, your life, okay? Write that thing down. And so then you put your focus and attention onto that one goal. Maybe it's less monetary. Maybe you want to shoot a destination wedding. Maybe you want to design something for an incredible designer. Like whatever it is, write it down, journal it. Now, I'm saying this because it's so important, especially when you first wake up. You know, you should have a glass of water next to your bedside table and a notepad. Wake up, drink a glass of water, write down those goals, then get on your phone, then go and have a shower, then go for a run, go and exercise, like whatever it is. But whatever's the most important thing for you each day is write down those goals because they're everything that you work towards. Now, if you open up Instagram or Facebook or something, when you first wake up in the morning, you're looking at other people's goals. You're looking at other people's content, like other people's dreams, other people's work. You know, you've shifted your attention away from your own goals, like your own work, whatever you want to create in this world. So I want you to shift that attention back to yourself. Be selfish on this. It's your goals. Don't let anybody tell you they're impossible. Don't let anybody water it down for you. You better not be watering it down for you. You don't have to say it to fit in with anybody else. Doesn't matter how impossible it seems. Just write it down. Commit to it. Okay, number 2, this one's a huge one for me as well. Having the right community. I think having the right community and support network has been incredibly important in my journey of growth, right? Like growing up the way that I did, I wanted to get out of the neighborhood and off the street that I grew up in. Like I moved out when I was 15, 16 off that street because I felt like back then I had no other choice. I wanted to get into new circles of friends. I wanted to meet new people. One of the reasons why I became a wedding photographer is because I wanted to move into new groups of people. I wanted to attract new people into my life and I wanted to get into new rooms. And it's so important. The reason why like I started paying for education, getting into a workshop when I first started as wedding photographer, signing up to courses is because seriously, it's like, it's not just about the education I got. It was like, man, get me into the room of other people that are committing to what I'm committing to. And they also are mad just like me and they're writing down their goals. Like get me into those rooms because those people understand me. Like they also understand that, you know, we work 80 hours a week and we don't get paid enough and we're trying to work out what's the missing piece of the puzzle? How can we optimize this to make it actually work? How can I make bigger impact? How can I serve more people? How can I bring my art to the people that love it most? most? How can I make these things happen? Now, if you're not in the right group, people are going to say like, hey, you should just work for someone, you'll get paid more. Are you sure you can charge that much? Or is it actually worth it? And you're going to get the naysayers that tell you and don't believe in you. And they will tell you that it's more risky or it's too risky and you should go back to whatever job it is. But when you get into a room of people that understand you, man, they've got your back and they'll never tell you to slow down. In fact, they'll always tell you to do more, say more, create more, post more, like they'll tell you. And when you're in that room, you're so inspired because all of a sudden you realize like, hey, I'm not actually the only mad person in this world that's excited to work on a Sunday afternoon, podcasting in my room and going out and doing a shoot and creating content and, waking up late on a Monday afternoon, like Monday morning to go down to the cafe and whatever it is, like, because my life feels different to everyone else's, but I've found my tribe of people that understand it. And so now we can all work together and we can share hacks and things like that, growth hacks in our businesses so we can get to where we want to be. So that one's huge. And that one goes into my next one, hacks. A lot of the times we think about hacks as something negative. So it's like, maybe it could be like a computer hacker that spreads viruses and things like that. But hacking our way through life is one of the most important things, and learning a shortcut, especially in business, like it's all about that, because business, especially for creative entrepreneurs, a lot of the times it's uncharted territories, and we need to make sure that we're creating hacks for ourselves so we can keep up with the game and sometimes surpass the game, surpass our competitors and everybody else. So the easiest way to do that is learn from the experts. Learning from the experts, man, I'm telling you, like I do this all the time. Like what I want you to do is I want you to consume. Like I want you to put your ear pods in, listen to more podcasts. I want you to listen to audiobooks. You go for a run, listen to an audiobook. You go in your car, turn your car into a library. I want you to be listening to their words and their strategies and their energy and like consuming it, because all of a sudden you're in a room of people that are unreachable for you. They might not even be in the same country as you. They might not be in the same league. They might, like whatever it is, but now you've got access to them. So turn your car into a library and consume their content. Consume it on wherever they're showing up. Read their blogs, watch their videos, follow them on Instagram, listen to their podcasts, listen to the books, read the books, right? Go to the workshops, go to the seminars, go to the conferences, go to the summits, like whatever it is, follow them, listen to them, because these are people that have been where you are right now and they're a step ahead of you. That's why you're listening to them. And so success always leaves clues. There's so many clues everywhere, especially if the educator or your mentor is like giving away free content all the time. There's clues, right? So you get to listen to those things and understand like, this is awesome. This is exactly where I need to be. And this is the stuff I need to listen to, because your mind will change and you'll be on growth all the time. Instead of jumping on Instagram and Facebook and scrolling, getting into the weeds, like I was saying before, and focusing on negative things, now you just put in those ear pods, listen to what you want to listen to. Listen to who and how and all those things, what's important to you to get you to where other people are not even hitting yet. And that's really, really important. Now, just sort of finish things off, talking about hacks, right? And I think for myself, like I've learned so many amazing hacks from the coaches and mentors that I've had throughout my life. And a lot of the times we feel like, what could someone teach me? And I was thinking about this the other day. And in my last podcast episode, if you haven't had a listen yet, go and have a listen. And I talk about when I was a pizza delivery driver. And what was interesting was back then, can't remember what year, it's probably 2005 or something like that, 2008, I don't know. So back then, like basically the story was I was delivering pizzas and then I worked out that I wasn't making enough money. And so instead of quitting my job or finding another job, because this was already my second job, I had to figure out how to make more money from the time that I was already spending creating money, right? So I was delivering pizzas. And then so I came up with an idea. I was like, what if I start answering the phone whilst I'm not delivering the pizzas, and then I'll go and grab milk and bread and cigarettes and alcohol and whatever, and I'll deliver that with the pizza, and then I'll get a tip. And then I'm still doing the same amount of work. I'm still doing the same amount of hours, but essentially I'm making a lot more money. And from that one hack, I started making 3 times the income that I was making. Now, I was thinking about this because I believe that back then I could have said to a coach, if I was a pizza delivery driver and I said, hey, I need to make more money, what can I do? And I believe that a coach wouldn't be able to tell me, or a mentor. But really, like, imagine if I met someone like myself and paid myself an hour's work and I said, hey, so can you help me make more money from delivering pizzas? And imagine if I brainstormed that idea for them. All of a sudden, you've 3x your income from doing the same amount of work. Now, what's incredible is this is such a basic concept because I'm talking about delivering pizzas. There's not many people that try and hack their way through delivering pizzas to make more money, right? But like a coach thinks like that with everything. And so right now, no matter what you're doing, and I can honestly say this, no matter what you're doing, how you're doing it, there's someone out there that can hack their way and make a lot more income for you in your situation. Now, I know this and I know this over and over, and I've helped people do this and I've had this happen to me as well. I remember the business coach that I hired for $30,000. I was literally like, there's not, like, I've learned everything. I've read all the books. I've been listening to podcasts. There's nothing this guy's going to teach me. He looked over my business and within a few tweaks, I only spent a few hours with him. I think in the coming months, I made about $300,000 on the return of what he taught me. So I 10x'd what I was doing or what I would have done. I absolutely would not have done what he said. And it was so far thinking outside the box that I needed someone else to see my business subjectively. Now, that just blew my mind. I could not believe that I was not doing that. And it opened up my universe to me because I was like, oh my God, like there's people like myself that think like I do, that can hack their way and shortcut their way and think of a better way to create more income, more impact, reach more people. And I think that's so important to remember. So I wanted to share that story because, like, whoever you are out there, like, I'm not telling you to like go out there and like find a business coach. I'm not telling you to sign up to a course. I'm not telling you to do anything these things. What I am telling you is I held myself back because of my own securities, and I don't think you have to. I don't think you need to go through that. And I know so many people do because people write to me all the time like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think you could help me because you're in Australia and I'm in Los Angeles. It's totally different. I don't think you can help me because I'm in the UK, you're in Australia. Or I don't think you can help me because you make $1 million and I'm trying to make $10,000, or, you know, whatever it is. But chances are having someone else look at your business and what you're doing, man, right now you don't have the tools, you're leaving it up to luck, and I bet you're not even committed. You're not even committing to your actual goals. You're not writing them down. You haven't said it to yourself. So if you're in that situation and then you jump on Facebook and you're complaining that you can't book any leads, no one's looking at your stuff, your Instagram followers are not growing, your bank account's not growing, you're using a lot of time, not making any impact. But if you haven't committed to all these things and actually worked out what resource do you need, then of course you're not going to get the results. It's just the way that it works. Now, what's incredible about, I guess, like for myself with being a business coach, and I was talking about this with my business partner, Tony, was, you know, I wake up at 5 o'clock every single morning, 5 to 6 o'clock. And every single morning I listen to about an hour to an hour and a half's worth of books on Audible, or I read books. Now, what's interesting about that is I've done that for the last 10 years. And Tony was saying to me, it's like amazing how much, Jai, even on a Saturday or a Sunday, you still wake up, you still go for a walk, you still read books, you still listen to these books. It's amazing how you do the things that no one else does. And I literally said, like, man, if you want the success that other people don't have, you got to be willing to do the things they won't do, right? Now, the reason why people sign up to me as a business coach is because I'm willing to do the things they're not willing to do. I'm willing to read all the books and extract just a little bit of knowledge that I need. I'm willing to test all the things. I'm willing to put myself out there and risk it all to see what results I can get. And so it's so interesting. And that's why, like, if you're willing to do more, you're going to get rewarded more than anybody else. So whatever you're doing right now in your business, how can you have a cutting edge on your market by doing what your competitors won't do? Like, do what others won't do to get the success that they don't have. I want you to think about that over and over and over in your head, because that's where the money is. That's where you'll get paid. You get paid by doing the things that other people won't do. The reason why I was getting paid well for delivering smokes and cigarettes and bread and milk while I was delivering pizzas, because no one else was doing it. So the demand was high, supply was low. But then people didn't want to get into their car, drive down. If they didn't want to go and get the pizza themselves, they didn't want to get the other things themselves, right? So I realized that, like, do what they won't do, and then you'll get paid for it. You get the success that they won't have. Of course, the other delivery drivers wouldn't do it either. So I was getting paid 3 times that they were getting paid, right? But that's just like a little, you know, a little side story to make it relatable to everybody. But Look, me and you, we're just having a conversation right now. And seriously, like, I want you to be thinking about it over and over. Like, I want this mantra, 2 mantras from me. I want you to be thinking like, okay, Jai always says, be unrealistic. Be unrealistic. This is something that Jai always says to me. Jai also says, do what others won't do to get the success that they don't have, right? So if you're just posting the same as everyone else on Instagram, you're not going to get the success that other people don't have because you're just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So do something different. See where you can solve a different problem, create a bigger impact, stand out. Like, you got to do something. Solve a different problem. That's where your income is going to explode, when you find that little piece of the puzzle that you're missing right now, and you're going to see that the glass ceiling is going to smash up. Your floor is going to come up as well, because as your ceilings go up, your floor goes up, and you will hit that next level of business. And trust me, like, it's not if, it is when, because seriously, like, the amount of times I felt like I was going to give up, well, it's just not going to happen for me. I was in business for 10 years hoping something's going to happen, you know, like I was hustling, reading books, doing everything. It's like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? But I knew it wasn't when, it was just if. And it happened. And it's going to happen for you as long as you don't give up and as long as you have that attitude. Just to recap, get rid of that self-talk. You know, the self-negative talk. Get rid of those Facebook groups that are bringing you down. Get rid of the drama out of your life. You just don't need it, okay? Number 2, find the right community. I want you to find a community that is supporting you. The people that you totally get them. You're like, oh my God, this is my language. You know, you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning as well. Like, I talk to people that wake up 5 o'clock with me and they don't call me crazy. They're like, I wake up at 4 and I go to the gym before I start reading a book, and then it pushes me, oh my God, that's what I want to do, right? And then 3, what hacks can you learn from the experts? Like, what hacks can you learn right now to blow up your business? Like, where are the resources that you need? You need to find those things, because having the tools, being ill-equipped, not having the tools, man, it makes life so easy. It literally, you have a cloudy fog over yourself all the time, wondering, when's my next lead? How's my next lead? How am I going to get through this? How do I grow followers? How do I price more? And you just be constantly asking these questions. Of course, like, imagine going to school and not having any of the workbooks and no teachers. Like, be impossible to try and get through school, because you're like, I don't know what to do. What do I even learn? I don't even know, okay? So yeah, things to think about. Now, just to wrap up, don't forget my 6-figure business map is opening up next week. And man, I'm so excited about it. We've actually just brought out another little bundle as well. So it's a higher ticket one, and is only limited to 5 seats on this launch. And we got some massive bonuses. And I know so many people listening right now are going to be joining us, because I mean, my DMs have been blowing up. It's going to be so exciting. So the more people that join, the more people that I hire to help me look after you guys. We're a team of 5 full-time people looking after everyone in the business map right now, dedicated to your success and to the community and stuff. And it's just, I've got to say, it's an absolute privilege that I get to work and be a part of so many journeys, help so many people make more impact, more money and more freedom. It's like mind-blowing that I get to share all this stuff with everybody. So again, thank you for listening to Make Your Break. Thank you for listening to me. I'll see you next week.